And now we're going to talk. Fuck, Jesus. Huh. All right. Shaun and I, hey. Shaun and I wrote our first song together on our first date, and we got married 3 weeks later. Gross, gross. I know it's gross. We quit our jobs, we broke our leases, and we went on the road. We slept in our car or on couches. We played horrifying gigs for gas money or food from the kitchen. We called this being on tour. But I can say now, assuredly, that this was just a glamorous way of saying that we were homeless. We were profoundly broke. Eventually, our songs got better, and the gigs got better. Our first musical got produced in San Francisco, but when it closed, it felt like we had fallen off the edge of a cliff. We had no next plan, no money, no home. We were terrified. When Emily and Jason Skyped us, and they offered us a commission, and I burst into tears. We were fans of theirs, massive fans of theirs, and all of the artists that they had already supported. So to be included at all made me like hyperventilate. But mostly I cried because I could feel in that moment our lives begin to change. We would find a way to move to New York. We would begin to write, and we would start a family. Everything changed because of that call.
By the time we actually got to Ars Nova for the first of many workshops and residencies, we had gotten pregnant, and we were losing that pregnancy. We slept in the loft as we moved through the miscarriage. We cried or were silent. I can tell you honestly that we were in a darkness and could not find a light. But Eric dropped by and asked what we needed. Jess would bring us a microphone, and then a different microphone, and then another microphone. Emily and Jason would ask what we needed, hug us, and leave. No one was angry when we set off the alarm. They said, eat whatever's in the fridge. It was only beer. They said, come in. What do you need? This is your home. They asked us, is this good for the art? Is this good for you as a human being? They carried an openness, a kindness that was so much a part of them that it radiated out with each individual act until it suffused the room surrounding us.
I don't know how it happened, but somehow these kindnesses accumulated in our blood. Somehow, in that darkness, a spark of a song came, and another, until we wrote with a madness of grief and joy, letters to the dead, letters to God, letters to the not yet born. They gathered the whole Ars crew, and they let us sing to them, having no idea what we were making. We sang through the cracks in our broken hearts, and something like joy came after. Since then, we've stayed in the loft many times. We stayed there to write and to rehearse. We stayed there while we decided to tell the story of my family in order to find a way to begin a new family of our own. We stayed there while we worked with our collaborators who became in every way a new family. We stayed there when we were happily pregnant again with the child we would welcome into the world, and finally, for the last time, with our infant son nestled between us, giving him baths in the sink while my mother slept on the couch. They gave us a roof over our heads, a paycheck, and they are the only theater who's ever done this for us, a stipend for childcare. Yeah. They showed us in a million tiny ways and huge ways that what we did mattered. By the time we left Ars Nova, we were forever changed by our experience with them, cracked open, washed clean. They changed our art, our hearts, our family, and our lives forever.
Many, many artists we know feel this way about Ars Nova. And this actually used to embarrass us, because what did it mean if this most special, sacred, radical thing that happened in our life was actually an institutional norm?
It's a bummer. Bummer.
But that is actually what makes it radical. It's radical because they've made it ordinary. This radical open-heartedness and open-mindedness, this wild kindness, to them it is ordinary. And here's the thing, that the more ordinary it becomes, the more radical it truly is. Their kindness becomes the water they swim in. They say yes because it's what they do. They make your dream a reality because they said they would. They sweat and bleed and fundraise for you because that is what is needed. In this way, they change the culture, not by talking about a policy of best practices like inclusion and respect and love, but by living it every day without exception until everyone around them lives it too. It turns out that this way of being can make great art. It can also change the lives of the people making the art, who in turn, in some small but deep way, can sometimes change the world entire.
Our son is 2 now. Yeah. Yeah. He was 2 months old when Trump was elected. He will grow up in a difficult world, in a difficult time. He will also grow up in a world that has been changed by Ars. He will grow up in the apartment we moved to when Ars gave us our commission. He will grow up across the hall from Sarah Gancher, who we wrote that commission with after Ars introduced us. He will know his grandmother, my mother, as a woman who sleeps well at night because Ars Nova helped us tell a part of her story that she needed told. And he will know us, his mom and dad, as people who are constantly working to become the artists and the people they need to be to make the world better for him. Because we have been loved and held and pushed and inspired and changed by this theater, by Ars Nova. He will grow up knowing that even in terrible times, even in very dark times, somewhere, always, there is someone creating and not destroying. Somewhere in a stairwell or a loft or a dressing room, maybe even a stage, there is someone blowing on a spark, creating tiny fires in the darkness. Thank you, Ars Nova. Thank you.